Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, back with another killer deck, and I was live streaming this earlier today, and yeah, people were pretty impressed with how it works. I got it trimmed down, I got it pretty balanced. It might need a little bit of work. If you say, hey, I've got the perfect card for this, yeah, you're probably right. I've only been working on this for like a day and a half, but I won the majority of my matches, I think, so I'm just a couple wins away from Mythic with this. I hope to get there in the next 37 hours. Oh, and by the way, this was called the Storm Area 51 deck because, you know, you want the biggest, baddest combat troops, you know, to get into Area 51, which, by the way, yeah, that meme's basically dead at this point, but too bad. But then my live stream happened, and I said that if I had an absolute blowout win, just running somebody's ass completely over with this deck, I'd rename it either Storm Area 52 or Storm Area 69, and I let the chat pick, which was clearly a really good idea. And now it's Storm Area 69. Alrighty then. But yeah, this is Gilded Goose right here. You know what it does. I mean, you guys already know what most of these cards do, so I'm not going to read every single one. It creates food and it sacks the food for mana, so it's kind of like a mana ramp on turn one. It's also a blocker in the air, especially against 1/1s. But then it's a lot of life gain late game because this deck has a lot of mana, and usually you kind of sit around not doing anything with it a lot of the turns, just waiting for an X spell to show up. So yeah, this is just something to do with 2 of it, and then boom, 3 life. So I mean, you do that turn after turn after turn, it's going to get to him. You're going to be able to let stuff through. Then we got Sedge Scorpion, Death Touch 1/1. I love it. This is the greatest card ever. And then Incubation Druid. It's another way to spend your enormous amounts of mana because this is an absolute ramp deck. So that's kind of cool. There's also a couple ways, maybe 1 or 2 to put a counter on her artificially. Then we got Leafkin Druid. Taps for 1 until you get 4, then it taps for 2. Just a fantastic card. I'm shocked that this is in the common slot. If this is a rare, it'd be $10. I mean, this card's amazing. Then we got Wildborn Preserver. Between this and Stonecoil, one of the 2 of them is the most powerful card in the set. I'm convinced of that. Although Garruk is like... it's hard to really compare them, but I don't know. I might even give it to Garruk. But as far as creatures, this is the most powerful creature. Nothing else even comes close. Because this thing can hit for 10 damage on turn 4. Easily. Like, easily. You don't even need the stars to align perfectly. So, if you haven't seen this card, it's Flash, which is hilarious, and then Reach, which is even more hilarious, because why should it? And it's a 2/2 for 2. It's an elf archer, but that doesn't matter. And then whenever another non-human creature, which is the entire deck, enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X. When you do, put X 1/1 counters on Wildborn Preserver. So it's Hero of Lena Tower, but you don't have to target it with a spell because that was Heroic X. This is like Creature ETB X. I mean, and Hero of Lena Tower was badass. That was like the craziest card ever. I think that one cost 1 though, but it might have been legendary. But yeah, this with Reach, it doesn't have Trample, but with Reach, it is ridiculous. So I only have 3 in here because if you have 4, you start running them into each other, and you don't ever want 2 of them out at one time. That doesn't work because you have to make really complex decisions. Sometimes it can work, but the deck needed 3, and it's whatever. Then we got New Horizons. Instead of gaining 3 life like the other one, this one puts a counter on something. I thought, well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I? Put it on the Goose, it's hilarious. Put it on Incubation, that's amazing. You put it on even a Stonecoil, it's pretty funny. So, you know, why not? Hell, you put it on one of these, why not? But then we got Beast Whisper. So this is, by the way, this is mana ramp that they can't get rid of. Easily, I should say. Like, if it's just some little, you know, elvish mystic or whatever, which is not in the game, it could get blown up in a board wipe, and then you're screwed. You've got 3/4 forests, and you just sit there and do nothing. You're dead. Not so with this one, unless they bounce every permanent back to hand that is in the land, and then you can just replay it, and then you get counters. So then we got Beast Whisper. I mean, you guys know what it does. Cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then we got Questing Beast. Just a good card. I think it's a little overpriced. I think it's only about a $10 card. They got it at like 22. I think that's a little optimistic. But, I mean, it is Vigilance, Death Touch, Hasten. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. I've had entire deck archetypes not be able to block this. But it's not like it gains you any life. I mean, it's good. It's just not that good. I mean, it's just good. It's a good creature for 4. But it is legendary, so only put in 2. And let's see. Yeah, whenever it hits an opponent, it deals that much damage to a planeswalker. So neat little trick. Cool. If they've got enough planeswalkers out that you're in trouble, this ain't going to save you, but whatever. I do like the cannot be blocked by 2. I think that's the feature of this card. And the fact that you just drop it in and go. And then on defense, it's a death toucher. So it's good, but like I said, it's not $22 good. Then we got Shifting Ceratops. Now this is $22 good. Just kidding. I wouldn't pay $22 for it, but it's good. So it's a 5/4 for 4. That's already good. And the spell can't be countered. That's hilarious. And then on top of it, it has protection from blue. I mean, any kind of mass bounce back to hand is still going to get hit by it. But other than that, I mean, fairies and the stupid Terramander, they cannot block this. They are not allowed to block this. And it can't be targeted by any ability from a planeswalker that is even mix blue. So this thing is out there. And then on top of it, you can pay 1. You can do this multiple times and have your choice of reach, trample, or haste. So it's also another reacher. So this is like the green, run you over deck, like a Stalin Steamroll deck that also can stop flyers. Because usually that's not how that goes. It's usually creatures on the ground. You just go with speed. But yeah, haste is hilarious because 5 damage haste, hello. But if you don't have the extra mana, it's still a 5/4. You can still use it next turn. So, this thing's nuts. I would probably, if there was a sideboard, put 2 more of these in there in the sideboard. Then we got Biogenic Ooze. This is just I almost said money outlet. It's a mana outlet where you can just create more and more and more oozes. I mean, that's just, you guys know what it does. I'd prefer to have Tendershoot Dryad so I don't have to pay for it, but this deck has so much mana, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever. And a lot of the times you can generate 2 or 3 oozes per turn because you'll have either 8 or 12 mana available. And then we got the Great Henge. It lives up to its name. And this is actually an appropriate deck to put it in because it costs X less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, which is usually like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you might even get it out for 2. Usually it's out for like 5 or less, which you also have because it's also a ramp deck. And then you can add 2 mana for no reason. It's ramp, whatever, cool. And then gain 2 life, or you can actually spend it. And then whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it. What? And draw a card. What? Even though it's legendary, I almost wanted to put in 4. But it's so expensive, like you want it to show up late game. And if it doesn't show up in the game, whatever, this deck can win by itself. It's not necessary. It's just so nice. There's a ton of card draw in this deck, so you're probably going to get to it. Then there's Stonecoil Serpent, the best creature in the deck, by far. I mean, it is better than Wildborn Preserver because you don't need to do this whole song and dance where you need another creature to do it. But then again, this one could be boosted 5 different times in 5 different turns. This can't. So like I said, it's a toss-up, but one of the 2 of these is the most powerful creature in the entire set. By far, hands down. So Reach Trample, another reacher, and it has Trample. That does give it an advantage attacking over Wildborn, but I've gotten these things up to like 28 before, so... Like I said, it's a toss-up, it's an opinion thing. I'd lean towards Stonecoil because it's colorless, but that's irrelevant to this deck. And then it has Pro Multicolored, which is hilarious. Just nothing. Teferi can't touch this. I'm not going to make a list of everything that can affect this, but let's just say it's most of the things. Just the things in general. So yeah, it enters with X11 counters on it. You guys know what it does. This thing's crazy. I think this is actually fairly cheap right now. I'm actually going to check. Yeah, those loons over at Card Kingdom have this thing at $4. Which, I mean, at $4, okay, respectable card, but like, come on, this is a $10 card. Come on. Are you kidding me? Even if it doesn't really work into a deck right now, the next set or the next set or the next set will bring enough mana generation, especially Theros, that this will be a card. So, I mean, at $4, I wouldn't say invest in it, but just be mindful. If you pull one, maybe don't trade it away is what I'm saying. Then we do have one Steelbane Hydra because... One, a Hydra turtle is just the greatest thing ever. Tortoises and turtles are like the bomb in Magic. Like they're the dumbest, weirdest, but like greatest cards for like gimmicky, weird crap. So this one, I mean, it's just a straight up, 2+X, and it enters with X11 counters on it. Doesn't duplicate them, doesn't do nothing, doesn't fight anything, whatever. But if you pay 3, which you will have, and then remove a counter from it, which you will have, destroy any artifact or enchantment. So... Oh my gosh, Cavalcade, what else? That ethereal, whatever, 6-cost thing that boosts everything. Some degenerate equipment, mill enchantments. I'm trying to think what people actually play these days. Those are 4 for sure. There's actually supposed to be more than 2, or more than 1 of these in the deck, but I am unfortunately out of rare wildcards. So I don't know what I'd pull. But luckily, I don't have to make that decision. I mean, seriously, look at this. What would you possibly pull? Not the low end, not the middle end, not the high end, and no other bombs. Sideboard maybe? I mean, I'd say it's worth mainboarding, but there should be 2 of these. Maybe not 3, but there should be 2 of these in the deck. I don't know. You'd have to run 62 or something. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Damn it. Then we got Voracious Hydra. I guess you could pull these in a, like, well, for sure in a sideboard scenario, you'd pull all 3 of these and then put in 3 Steelbanes if they're not playing like any creatures or if they're playing very few creatures. But otherwise, yeah, this thing's crazy. This thing's so overpowered. So it's a 0/1, so it's always going to come out as a 0/1 no matter what. And then on top of that, it's X. It enters with X counters on it. And then you either double the number of counters on it on an ETB effect, or it fights target creature you don't control. So you can either take something out if it's big enough, and, you know, there goes the flyer. Again, this is a very anti-flying deck. Or you can just say, hey, I put 8 into this. I would prefer 12 counters on it, because X would equal 6 and the remainder is 2. So yeah, you would just double that. Oh, now I've got a 12/12 Trampler. I feel like to make this a more fair card, they should have taken off Trample, but whatever. It is what it is. Actually, the best way to do this would be if it fights target creature, then it gains Trample permanently. I don't know how you would say that other than it gains Trample permanently. Well, I guess you just wouldn't say until end of turn. But then if you double the number of counters, then it doesn't get Trample. That would probably be fairer, but yeah, this thing's a little much, which is why it's in my deck. Now, believe it or not, this card's only $2.50, currently retail market price. I don't know what's wrong with people. Then there's 3 Castle Garenbrigs. Honestly, not a very good card. You spend 4, you lose the use of this, and you get 6. It's literally just 1 ramp. Oh boy. But it goes into any X spell. The one thing that you can't use this for in the deck, that you'll try to, but don't do it, is Wildborn Preserver. Because this says, spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activate abilities of creatures. So what they mean is activate activated abilities. Which, I mean, that's a better way to phrase it. I guess it would have been awkward. But this is a triggered ability. So you can't say, well, I activated the trigger. Like, that's how I thought. And then I reread it. I'm like, did they literally mean just activated? But yeah, they do. So I don't know. All I know is Arena doesn't let you do it. So that's what I'm going with. So you could honestly run the deck with 0 of these if these end up being like a lot of money. I should probably just check. Yeah, they're $3.50. I think they're going to drop. They're like a $2 land in my opinion. I don't know. It depends what other people do within other decks, in other formats. But then on top of that, you just got forests. Just forests in a gingerbread cabin. You really just don't want lands coming in tapped, and this, you have to have 3 or more forests out, and this is not a forest. So strangely, this is. So I mean, you either got to put in 4, you got to put in none, but I went with 1 because it's like, okay, 1 free food, 3 free life. It's like a life-linking land. I don't know. It's just weird. Food is so weird. It's kind of OP, honestly. But yeah, this is just a nice little thing that shows up once in a while in some games and blesses you with 3 life. But I wouldn't go 2. 2, you're probably going to have 1 come in tapped and you're going to pay for it because you'll think, oh, but I can wait till next turn and put 1 more into my Hydra. Oh, I needed that 1 because I need to fight this. Or, oh, this needs to be 1 bigger to stop this. And yeah, you want to maximize every single last point. So that's the deck. Let's get to the gameplay, which, by the way, is hilarious. Okay, guys, I think I have enough to absolutely ruin his day. I do. Barely. Oops, I left 2 floating. Whatever. I'm going to flash it in. just to piss him off. That's a slippery fox. Well, there it is, everybody. Kiss my ass, Diamond Tier. I won't miss you. You can all go straight back to hell. I'm in Mythic. I did it with 6 wins in a row. 6 wins, guys. Oh, and I started this game with a mulligan. Oh, guys, by the way, I should probably throw in that I changed this deck very slightly. I took out the Death Toucher on the ground because, yeah, it's a 1-drop and that works with some stuff, but, like, nothing in the game on the ground can stop this deck. Not anything within reason. So why even have it? The only thing that I'm recurring, like, losing to is Chandra's stupid shitbird. So I put in 3 Crushing Canopies. I took out 1 Questing Beast and 2 of the Sedge Scorpions and put in Crushing Canopy, which this is instant speed, and you choose 1, destroy target creature with flying, or destroy target enchantment. There you go. I mean, That's about as good as you can get right there. So with that said, this gameplay is a little bit off just because it has a different deck list. So let's go. Hey, that card's not in there. I did take out Arboreal completely for the Golden Goose and that Return of the whatever that says. I can't read it. I'm squinting. I'm watching the preview in Premiere. So he's running, I don't know. I'm going to have to make this preview bigger. I can't see what the hell's going on. Oh, he's running Knights. Okay, so like that is some crazy combat. Look at that. Look at it with 2 mana. Like he's like kicking my ass. But then, well, there's that. So now he's like, okay, well, you know, that's a damn good card though. Death Touch slows this down. It doesn't completely shut it down, but it slows it down. So right now I basically should be like, well, shit, I lost, right? We'll see. I mean, would I be uploading this if I lost? I mean, spoiler alert, but no. Also, that was a mistake. He should not have done that. I've noticed people in the Diamond League are playing like idiots, but I mean, I've made a couple mistakes, but like some of these that my opponents make are like obvious, but they're probably just doing what I'm doing and just like watching Netflix and like who cares. But the top of the Diamond League plays against the top of the Diamond League. If you're in the bottom and you're like who cares, then who cares? But if you're in the top, you're like, okay, I could get to Mythic. And if you're playing right now, you're trying to get to Mythic because there's only like 1 day left. So I don't know. Maybe they've given up. I don't know. Maybe they're just idiots. I don't know what's going on. So some things are happening. I don't really need to narrate this. I probably could have made it triple speed and you'd just be like, oh yeah, creatures are coming out. Oh look, he blew one up. I mean, you know what these cards do. All right, here we go. So we got Beast Whisperer and he just forfeit. He's like, no, I see where this is going. He's got too much mana for a Beast Whisperer. All right, so I won that game by drawing a bunch of cards with a card that's not even in there anymore. So you know, I think this is a little bit more representative, and this is like, you know, anybody can beat a combat deck with a better combat deck. Like if my creatures are bigger and they're better and I've got more of them, I'm gonna win. You know, duh. Like that just outlined that. And Knights is like pretty good right now. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Just saying. So this is versus Control. This is a whole different story. So there you go. I dropped the counter on that thing, and now I've got 3 mana, so I did that, and then I did that. So this is the best commentary ever. It is like 2:30 in the damn morning. All right, so District Guide, I'm sure that does something great. Oh, he's just dumping lands into play. I see. Okay. I think this is a Field of the Dead deck. I don't even remember. I decided to just go for that because it fit. I was like, well, I'll have the 2. Normally it's a little early for that because I literally reduced it by like 1, but totally worth it. See, that makes sense. I almost should have left that on defense because I knew he didn't need that, but I kind of wanted it out of the way. Okay. Oh, it's a Golos deck. Oh, here we go. Okay. So once again, Return of the Wild Speaker, which is not in the deck because it's just too situational. I only ran 1 in the first place, but yeah, I'm wondering what to do, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll just take the 3 cards, like whatever. Then we got Triceratops from Hell, and then we got the Hydra, which is going to kill Goros or Golos or whatever the hell his name is. So that was nice. I mean, it's a good card. It's just it has to come up right when you need it. When you got 5 mana and a fairly big creature in play. You can also kill people with it, but it has no room in the deck. I mean, the deck's big enough already. So Agent of Treachery. This is a Golos Agent of Treachery, FYI, clone flicker deck. I don't think we're gonna see it because I'm about to blow them up, but yeah, this deck is pure cancer. It makes me feel a lot better about what I'm running. And I won, let's see, if you count the last 15 games, I lost 2. So 13-2 is the record with this deck in its current deck list. I didn't even kill the Treachery. I just killed the Goros, whatever the hell his name is, because I didn't want him to free cast any more shit. So I've been just pulling Forest, which is really unfortunate, but that Trample Snake is just going to end it. I mean, he can steal it, though, which really pisses me off. Then he has another one. Like, his deck could not be running better. It just can't be done. And still, I end up beating him. I don't remember how the hell it happens. I think I just trample past him. I just force him to block. Oh, there's a Gravedigger. That's a good card. At least this guy got creative with this. I've never seen this exact lineup before. I've seen very similar builds to it. So, you know, kudos to him. Oh, Oh, that's right. I just chained Sedges together. Oh, this is so bad. That card's not in there anymore. But see, situationally, that's a good time to pull it. But that Keeper of Fables, it's not good enough, and I kicked that out of the deck too. I just went just best of. Just all this, oh, you might draw a card and it's kind of mid-range, but it doesn't do anything. Not good enough. Like, this deck is so good, you gotta put the bar really, really, really high. So, I don't know, all kinds of shit just happened. I hope you were paying attention, because I sure as hell wasn't. I think I'd probably kill him on this swing. Did I give him trample? I don't even remember. I don't know. I've swung with the Beastmaster, so I must know something that I don't. This is weird narrating my own videos. Okay, what's you gonna do? I think he's running the calculations to see if there's a way to survive it, and I don't think there is. By the way, I lowered the forest count by 1 because of this. Yep. Oh nope, he did the math. Yep, that's it. So that's how this deck runs. Oh, and I got to Diamond 1 with that. Nice. So I'll probably upload more gameplay footage of this just because it is like my new favorite deck by far, and the name's pretty good too. So yeah, if you want to see more of that, leave a comment down below. If you're like, no, I get it, whatever. I think to build this in paper would be like somewhat cheap. Like, I mean, you don't have a ton of dual lands. You don't have that like $80 to $100, bare minimum that you had before rotation with any 2-color deck. There's a couple cards that right now are pre-ordering for like 15 in here. But if you tweak it a little bit, and you might just cut the last Questing Beast because that thing's like $22. I think you can get this done for well under $100. I didn't really add it up, but like I looked up some and I'm like, oh, $2 card, $4 card, $3 card. It seems pretty reasonable. Now on Arena, I think you're like probably 15 wild cards from it, so it's pretty rough. But it's worth it though because it is just beating everything, and I mean everything. Now that I can take down Chandra's Shitbird, that's it. It's over. I mean, and then the sideboard, if you were going to go best of 3, you can do just like Plummet and Fell the Pheasant. Although Fell the Pheasant cannot kill Drakuseth, that 7/7 dragon. Be very careful about that. I lost a game because of that. I almost wish it was Plummet. I'm actually starting to think that limitation is not worth the food, and you should just mainboard Plummet, because I told everybody, oh, just swap out Plummet. Yeah, no. But yeah, that's all the rest of the advice for how to play it, when to play it, where to play it, and everything. So if you got any more questions, leave them down in the comment section. And I would very much recommend that you do not leave a comment saying this deck isn't as good as you think, because, oh, I think I just proved it. 13 wins, 2 losses, guys. Come on. I'll see you hater tots next video.